Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach. So a few minutes we're going to be sitting down for our Seders, accompanied by our family and friends and community. And there are two sides to the Seder. And one is familiar to us, we know it. We often talk about how the Seder was based on the Greek symposium. And so that we have a luxurious meal, and there was a tradition for it to be served by servants and given appetizers and multiple courses and drink. And yes, there were also important discussions that took place on important matters, but this is a model that makes sense to us, that we understand. We live in the West, in a prosperous and powerful nation, and many of us have multiple degrees, and we live in educated families with success. And so this is a dinner party with intellectual content. Thinking about our return to our identity, to our roots, to where we come from. And the rabbis wanted to create a ritual that was desirable to us, that made sense to us. And for those who came before us, we can imagine that it was a rare occasion to enjoy something that we take for granted in our life, and that we're able to have more regularly. A comfortable forum where we have everything we need. We think about tradition, the values we care about, and we honor in the most foundational way our gathering. Good company, good food, good conversation. And yet there's always been another part to the Seder. There's always been another part to the Seder. And this part captures what was the original spirit of the original Seder, back in the story of the Exodus as the final plague was striking Egypt. And Moses instructed the people to be ready for freedom. And they stayed up all night and they waited for that opportunity to come. And so the Seder is also called Leil Shmurim, the night of waiting in our tradition. We wait for that moment where finally Pharaoh says, okay, it is time to leave. And back at the story of the original Seder, they had to be ready to leave bechipazon. That's why we eat matzah. They had to leave with haste. And Moses said, you have to spend all night with the sandals on your feet and the staves in your hand, just to be ready for that small moment where suddenly you're able to truly grasp freedom. And for them, that opportunity to leave bondage was priceless, was unique, and they had to be open and ready. And they were not walking to a beautiful city, they were heading out into the desert, but yet this is all that they truly wanted. And it wasn't an intellectual act, it was a very real experience of leaving slavery. And so this is the other side of the Seder, the inner spirit of the Seder, the inside. The other, we can say, is the outside of the Seder. And that within the comfort of the symposium, that it's meant to give us a wonderful way to go through our evening, there's also this opportunity of a very real experience for all of us of leaving a place of Egypt. And this is an extension of the burning bush, which is really the beginning of this story of Moses, of meeting the Holy One. And to think about what is the Egypt we want to leave this year. Not only think about the Egypts in our society, of which there are many, the Egypts in our world, of which there are many, but also that experience of leaving Egypt within our own selves. And that opportunity is also priceless and unique. And from there, we can really think about there that we have a much more real conversation about what it's like to leave all the other Egypts as well. And to think about what does it really mean to be enslaved, and how can we help each other. So the symposium is easy, and the night of waiting is more challenging, but it's also true. And I encourage everyone to touch a little bit of that spirit tonight, to think of one place where they would like to be a little bit more free in their lives, and how they can bring that spirit of freedom more into their lives and then out into the world to be a force of true transformation and change from those depths, a beginning. And tonight, all you need is a little beginning. You have to leave Egypt. You don't need to get all the way to the promised land. You don't have to get all the way to Sinai. You just have to take one little step to leave Egypt, to set it in motion. So the symposium is the outer shell to make the night comfortable. But the night of waiting is what makes it alive, and what makes it truly an experience we pass on l'dor vador from generation to generation. Chag Sameach.